Now we get to, I think, the hardest and maybe the most abstract award that there is, and that is the crew awards. They can award up to 20 of them, and as we've seen in the past few years, usually they do. A very difficult job here and slightly different criteria. Let's have a look.
Yeah, the only difference is, Chris, between skippers and crews is that you got to look at the record for one, but you also got to remember that the crew in some ways is a bit more reliant upon the skipper for the record. So other things the committee can take into account are demonstrated leadership. So seniority will play a factor. You'll see a lot of seniors standing up in front of the crowd there in the gorge. Demonstrated outstanding boat handling and mechanics within the boat. These coaches know what a good crew looks like, and they can pick that out from a long ways away. And they look at also varied skippers. You know, if they go in for different skippers and make their results better, they will certainly get a look for All-American.
And this is where we are at a little bit of a disadvantage. We do not see these sailors on the water as often as we would like to. So we are mainly looking at results, seniority, and some of those other factors. But don't be surprised to see another name or two pop up and make this list that we don't even address, because we don't have all the information. But best guess here, I think we've definitely got a few that we can put our finger on. Brianna Provancha from BC, incredibly versatile sailor, skipper, crew, whatever is needed. She can go in as a heavy or probably more like a medium. And a great leader for the team. I think that she's really, over the past 4 years, really led this team, and it will be a big part of their performance out in the gorge.
You're right, Chris. Brianna has had an incredible year skippering and crewing. I'm sure we'll see her sailing in women's and team racing. She will not be competing at co-ed because she'll be with me, or not with me, but competing in the 470s at the Sail for Gold, going for an Olympic berth with Annie Hager. Another shoe-in, Chris, you got Ashley Phillips, again, crewing for, potentially the leader going into nationals for College Sailor of the Year. Franny Cooper-Smith, crewing for Michael Menninger at St. Mary's. Liz Brim, she's jumped around a bit, but always makes her skipper a lot better, senior from Yale.
Kelly Stannard, part of that Roger Williams crew, has really turned it on this spring for Cy Thompson. Meredith Pallison, who again is pretty versatile, goes female team, co-ed, whatever is needed, a senior leader from St. Mary's. Maddie Jackson, teammate, again part of the triple threat of seniors from St. Mary's, been there a long time and is really a big part of why that team is still in the discussion for the elite teams.
Now we're starting to look at a couple of the non-seniors on the list, Chris. We know there's not many of them. You got to be really, really good to make this list as a non-senior. Emily Massa from BC, crews for Annie Hager in most conditions. Crews for Taylor Canfield when it gets a little breezier. She actually won the Babineau Trophy as the top crew in NISA this year. Alyssa Aitken from Charleston, she won last year. This year she's crewing for Jackson Benvenuti. They've got a lot of great results. Laura McKenna crews for Tyler Sinks, very, very good body mechanics, and I think she'll get it as just a sophomore.
Blair Belling, former All-American, used to sail for Thomas Barrows, now jumps around a bit, has had some time in A Division and B Division for Yale. Quincy Bach and Megan Wareham, part of the senior squad from Harvard. An incredible spring, a very disappointing end to the season. Once again, not making nationals, but you have to look at their record all through the year, and I think they're very deserving of the award.
Yeah, there'll be a co-ed still. Maybe not team racing, but they'll be out there. And finally, Rebecca King, a sophomore from Stanford. We talked about demonstrated leadership, and it might be strange to think about a sophomore in a leadership position. But think about how big that freshman class is, and she has sailed with most of them at this stage and clearly improves their results. The committee will almost always award all 20 All-American crews. Not always the case with the skippers, but crews, you will see 20 All-Americans up there. So we don't have 20 yet. A few others that might make it in, but might not. You got Alice Hong, a junior, Robert Van's crew from Navy, Sally Evans, Colin Smith, and sometimes Fred Stromer's crew jumps around there at Brown. And finally, Lucy Wallace, one more BC Eagle who just is a very versatile player and might make the list.
So those are our picks, and I know we've been disclaiming a lot, but you can't underestimate the amount of hours that this committee will be putting in, not only throughout the year, but behind closed doors at Nationals, poring over these results, and a lot more experience than we have. So we're certainly looking forward to the co-ed banquet, where we're going to see all of these awards given out, as well as College Sailor of the Year, a big part of Nationals, and we're glad to have the pleasure to watch these sailors week in and week out all throughout the college season.
Yeah, Chris, best of luck to all those sailors and all the sailors sailing in Nationals. Can't believe it's already next week. Stay tuned for a special episode of Chalk Talk previewing all 3 Nationals, which will air on Tuesday the 24th.
And then we kick things off with women's semifinals, Wednesday the 25th, rolling right along. Sailgroove will be headed out to the Gorge, so tune in for all the coverage and analysis that you're used to. We will see you next week.